The moment I stepped into my first Filipino mall, I froze. Not because of the air conditioning, but because of the shock. I wasn't prepared. I stopped walking, looked around slowly, and for a second, I genuinely thought I walked into the wrong building. Massive ceilings, bright lights, crowds moving like a festival, shops stretching farther than my eyes could see. And I whispered to myself, hold on, this is a mall? See, if you grew up in the USA like me, you already know what malls look like back home. They're simple, functional, predictable. A few stores, a food court, maybe a department store, quiet hallways, half the seats empty. And in many places, they're not just quiet, they're dying, closing, turning into empty shells of what they used to be. But the Philippines? Bro, it's a whole different universe. It's not just bigger. It's not just louder. It's not just newer. It feels like the mall itself has a heartbeat, alive, warm, full of life. And that's when I knew. I wasn't just visiting a mall, I was about to discover a whole new culture. Let me show you. In America, seeing a mall close down is almost normal now. You drive past a building that used to be busy, and suddenly the signs are gone, the parking lot is empty, and the whole place feels like a ghost town. But in the Philippines, it's the exact opposite. When a mall opens, it feels like the whole city wakes up. Families pour in. Kids get excited. Stores prepare for crowds. The energy in the air is almost electric, like a festival, a celebration, a community event. And let me tell you, Filipino malls aren't just big. That word doesn't do them justice. They are huge. Massive, endless. Some of them feel like airports. Wide hallways, escalators everywhere. People moving in every direction like you're inside a giant international terminal. Others feel like mini-cities, not just floors, but districts, not just shops, but worlds. You walk in and suddenly realize you could spend the whole day here and still not see everything. But the most shocking part? The life inside. Because unlike American malls, which are quiet, calm, and sometimes almost empty, Filipino malls are alive. Everywhere you look, there's movement. Families holding hands, kids running around with snacks, workers heading to break, friends meeting up, couples taking pictures. And it doesn't feel chaotic. It feels warm. It feels human. A Filipino mall doesn't just have people. It has energy. A heartbeat you can literally feel as you walk through it. Then comes the food. Oh man, this is where everything changed for me. In the USA, mall food courts are predictable. You already know what you're going to see. Burgers, fries, pizza, maybe a sandwich shop. And if you're lucky, a Chinese takeout box. It's the same rotation. Every mall, every city. But in the Philippines, you walk into the food area and suddenly, it's like you stepped into a global food festival. You don't just get choices, you get cultures. Filipino home-cooked meals with rice so perfect it feels like comfort in a bowl. Japanese ramen shops with lines so long you know it's legit. Korean BBQ sizzling in front of you. Dim sum steaming. Fresh seafood. Pancit sisig adobo. Halo halo. Dishes that hit differently when made by the hands of people who've perfected the recipe. Milk tea shops. Bro, they're everywhere. You could try a new one every day and still not finish them all. And the dessert stalls don't even get me started. Cakes, pastries, ice cream, fruit shakes, flavors I didn't even know existed. You're not just eating food. You're taking a tour across Asia one bite at a time. But the part that completely blindsided me? The price. In the US, one Starbucks drink can cost as much as an entire meal in the Philippines. A real meal with rice, soup, sides, and dessert. That's when it hit me. That's when I realized Filipino malls don't play around. They don't just feed you. They spoil you. Here's where things go crazy. And honestly, this part still blows my mind. In America, malls give you shopping. You walk in, you buy what you need, maybe grab a quick bite, and you leave. Simple. Predictable. But in the Philippines, malls give you everything. And I mean every single thing. You turn one corner, there's an ice skating rink, kids wobbling around, couples holding hands, families cheering and laughing. You turn another corner, a full arcade lighting up the entire floor, with machines beeping, blinking, and kids screaming like they just won the lottery. Walk a little further, and suddenly you hear music. Live bands. Not just background noise, actual performances. People singing along, crowds clapping like they're at a concert. Then you look up, and boom, a movie theater. Multiple screens, massive halls showing everything from blockbusters to local Filipino films. But it doesn't stop there. Playgrounds inside the mall for kids, massage shops for relaxation, cafes for studying, co-working spaces, government offices where you can get documents, spas, clinics, salons. And the wildest part? There are churches inside the mall, actual chapels, where people pray, attend mass, and take a quiet moment right in the middle of all the noise. I remember walking through and thinking, how does one building do all of this? Because at that moment I realized something important. You don't visit a Filipino mall, you experience it. It's not just a place you go to, it's a place you spend hours in, a place that feels like entertainment, comfort, convenience, and community, all wrapped into one massive space. But the biggest difference, the part that really separates Filipino malls from everything I grew up with, the vibe. American malls feel individual. Everyone walks with their own headphones, their own space, their own bubble. People get what they need and leave. No interaction, no connection, just errands. But Filipino malls, they feel completely different, warm, social, alive. You don't just see people, you feel their energy. Families walking together, holding hands, talking, laughing. Parents guiding their little ones. Grandparents smiling proudly behind them. Friends gathering around tables, sharing food, stories, and inside jokes like the mall is their second home. Couples strolling slowly, pointing at shops, taking pictures, planning their day like it's a date inside a tiny city. And the kids, man, the kids run around with the biggest, purest smiles. That kind of joy that reminds you what it felt like to be young. And what struck me the most was that people weren't rushing. They weren't stressed. They weren't trying to leave. They were present. They were enjoying. They were together. Because in the Philippines, the mall isn't just a place to shop. It's a hangout spot, a weekend getaway, a family tradition, a place where memories are made. Filipinos don't go to the mall just to buy things. They go to connect, to bond, to rest, to escape the heat, the stress, the noise of life, and step into a place that feels joyful and safe. And that's what makes it special. That's what makes it different. That's what makes it unforgettable. So after comparing everything, the size, the food, the entertainment, the energy, and most importantly, the vibe, one thing became absolutely clear to me. Philippine malls aren't just different. They're on a completely different level. They're bigger, yes. They're more exciting, absolutely. But more than anything, they feel alive. Like they were built not just for shopping, but for people, for families, for friends, for communities. And every time I walk into one, I don't just feel like a visitor. I feel like I'm stepping into a place that understands what it means to bring people together. So now I have one question for you, and your answer will shape the next episode. Which mall should I compare next? Should I explore the massive world of SM, dive into the modern, classy feel of Ayala, check out the community vibe of Robinson's? Or is there another hidden gem that you think the world needs to see? Drop your suggestion in the comments. I'm reading every single one. And if you enjoy videos like this, videos that dive deep, that explore culture, that show the world through a different lens, then make sure you hit subscribe and join this journey. Because the next story, the next comparison, the next adventure might be about your mall, your city, or even your country. Stay tuned. We're just getting started.